This episode of Terra Arcana is sponsored by Running the Goat Books and Broadsides, a Newfoundland and Labrador micropress publishing beautiful and engaging children's books and unique letterpress publications. Running the Goat has a notable focus on Newfoundland folklore, including Andy Jones's Jack Tales series and Tom Dawes' wonderful collection of ghost and fairy stories, all of which are available in both print and audio editions. Running the Goat operates a bookstore in Tours Cove with a thoughtfully curated selection of fabulous local, national, and international books. If you're listening to this episode when it first airs in June, Running the Goat's summer bookshop hours are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day except Tuesdays. In other seasons, check their website for opening hours and for online shopping. Check out Running the Goat, a bookstore and publisher as unique as its name.
Come in, Kate, my love. No, don't take your shoes off. I know you're in a hurry.
Yes, just on my way into work.
Don't mind now. I've got that big box of mitts here for you. 16 new pairs, 4 different patterns.
Oh, Mozzie, these are lovely. You're a miracle worker.
Hardly a miracle worker, but working from home does lead to a lot of knitting from home. And I think we'd have to say it's a mutually beneficial relationship.
You know, I'd be happy to give you credit, even send people directly to you for extra orders.
Not a chance. The setup we have is perfect. I don't have to worry about sales or marketing, just keeping my hands busy while I'm in Zoom meetings. And let's be honest, which of us looks like a knitter? The big bald guy with the beard and tattoos?
Or the gray-haired lady with the glasses and all the jingly necklaces? Point taken. As long as nobody ever asks me to demonstrate my knitting skills.
Leaves you with plenty of time for ghost hunting or whatever you're doing.
Ghosts would certainly be less odd than some of the things I have seen lately, but don't worry. No matter how tangly the library business gets, I'll always have time to sell your mittens.
Well, as long as you got a storefront to sell them from.
Oh, I imagine I'll be in the old building till I die. Can't see the owners ever selling it out from under me.
So you're not worried about this crummy fellow then?
Who? Oh, that developer that's building condos on Water Street East?
Brett Crummy of Vernal Developments. Kate, you gotta keep up on the news more. He's no ordinary developer, and he wants that block of buildings that includes your library. He's got a proposal into City Council.
I'm sure it'll never go through. We're a heritage structure. We're right next to the War Memorial. All the same, I have heard some odd things about this Vernal Developments.
You should look into it. Anyway, here's your mittens. I'll have more for you in a few weeks.
People really love that snowflake pattern. Happy knitting!
Happy whatever it is you're at.
Morning, Kate. Did you just get here?
5 or 10 minutes ago. Sorry I haven't opened up yet. I was just standing here looking at the building and thinking.
Okay, well, no law against thinking. You want me to take the keys and open up?
No. I should go inside. If I stand out on Water Street gawking, people will think I'm losing my marbles.
Yeah, that's definitely more suspicious than running around Bowering Park chasing runaway statues at night. Ooh, new mittens? You want me to put them up on display around the shop?
Oh, Essie, that would be lovely, but, I mean, it's not really your job, is it? You're hired as a associate librarian, not a mitten sales associate. Although I'm quite sure you'd have better ideas about window displays than I would.
Honestly, I'd love to. It's fun to organize the displays. I guess like you find knitting fun. Hey, how come you never do it in the shop?
Oh, I have to be ready to hop up and go into the library on a moment's notice. I can't afford to be distracted while I'm at work.
You must get a lot done at home then. So, any particular reason for the standing outside staring at the building?
I'm worried about this Brett Crummy and his Vernal Developments, and realizing I should have been worried a whole lot sooner.
You mean because he might be an evil sorcerer instead of just an evil property developer?
Because he might be both? And I've just learned that one of the properties he wants to develop is this block of buildings that includes the library.
Oh no, that would be terrible.
For a lot of reasons. I always thought this spot was safe, right next to the War Memorial. There's a lot of powerful energy protecting both the library and the memorial site. But as soon as I thought of that, I thought of...
The Fighting Newfoundlander.
Yes, exactly. What was it he said on Friday night? Something like, watch yourself and have a word with my comrade and his fellows, for they're all in danger again.
I've been thinking about that ever since we heard it too. What could he have been talking about, you know? What comrade would the Fighting Newfoundlander have left except...
Another statue of a First World War soldier. And not just any statue, but one who has fellows? The statues up there on the War Memorial, they represent the 3 other services. the Royal Naval Reserve, Merchant Marine, and the Forestry Corps.
So we need to talk to the statues on the memorial? Can we just go out there and strike up a conversation?
I doubt it'll be that simple, Essie, and I have no idea how that might tie into stopping an evil sorcerer who might want to get his hands on this library.
Sounds like this is a job for librarians. Well, we could check to see if there's anything in the library on statues that we might have missed, and I can do some online sleuthing on Mr. Crummy. So, Kate, this guy is exactly what you'd expect. Big developer, been in real estate for at least the last 15 years, buying up historic properties, somehow getting city council to let him tear down and build luxury condos and office buildings. Pretty standard scumbag stuff. Super rich, tons of friends in government, municipal, provincial, and federal.
Is he from here originally?
Well, that's the weird thing. I basically can't find out anything about his early life at all. There's references to him going back to about 2010, but he seems to have sprung onto the business scene fully formed. No stories about him getting a start, either here or anywhere else. I can't even find out where he went to university, if he did.
Never trust a character who has no backstory.
I guess it's not totally strange for people to reinvent themselves. I mean, in the early 2000s, recording everything on the internet still wasn't totally common practice. So maybe the gaps are explainable?
Maybe, but people who reinvent themselves so neatly and tidily that they leave no traces behind? That's suspicious.
The earliest things I found on him were just passing references with his name. No details, no photos. It's not until about, this article from Atlantic Business in 2018. It's the first one that mentions that his company is called Avernal Developments. Here, take a look.
Yes, as you said, it doesn't give a lot of detail. Is this a photo of Mr. Crummy?
Yeah, it seems to be. Him and a couple other developers. It's not the best shot of him. Why?
No, it's nothing. He reminded me of someone, that's all, but it's not. No, it's just a passing resemblance.
I'll see if I can find a better picture, something more recent. Meanwhile, did you find out anything about how to get statues to talk to you?
Not really. There's some wonderful folklore and fairy tales about statues coming to life, but I can't find anything on how to awaken one. A charm worked on the mermaid statue, but she was a real mermaid who was under an enchantment. The ones in Bowring Park were genuine statues, and I'm sure the ones on the War Memorial are too.
So when one statue tells you to talk to another statue...
I'm not sure where to start. Oh, there's the shop bell. I'll be back up as soon as I've dealt with whoever's down there. Good morning. Welcome to Smitten. Can I help you with your mitten-related needs?
With my what?
Mitten-related needs. If you need any mittens at all, big ones, small ones, trigger mitts, traditional mittens, we sell them.
No, I don't need any mittens. Is this a craft shop? I thought...
It's a mitten shop, specifically.
Is your name Oldford?
Oh, no. My name's McGregor. Were you looking for someone named Oldford?
I was told that... Well, it sounds silly, but I was told to say that you can always rely on the Oldfords and White.
Yes, you can. Would you just follow me through this door and up to the library?
Library? I thought this was a mitten shop.
Everything looks like something. This is my associate librarian, Essie Clark. I'm the head librarian, Kate McGregor.
And who are the Oldfords and Whites?
The good folk of Tickle Cove Pond, I believe. Not to worry. It's just kind of a password to get you into the library. And as you can see, it worked. And you are?
My name's Tish Warren, and I saw something weird when I was out in my boat.
Something weird is definitely up our alley.
I was out in the boat there on Saturday, for the food fishery. We were done for the day, me and my girlfriend, and heading back to the wharf when I saw a boat out on the horizon. Not another fishing boat. There were a nice few of them out all day, but this was big. Way bigger than anything I'd seen all day. But not as big as a container ship or anything like that. What it looked like was an old-fashioned ship, like a schooner or something.
A sailing ship? 2 masts or 3?
Maybe 3, but I wasn't paying that much attention.
Could be some billionaire's yacht or some tourist thing?
That's what I thought at first, but no, it wasn't like that at all. It looked spooky and weird, almost like it wasn't all there.
You said your girlfriend was on the boat with you. Did she see it?
Not then. Abby never noticed it, and by the time she looked where I was trying to show her, it was gone. That was the other strange thing. Something so big and it just disappeared.
Was that the only time you saw it?
No. Later that night, when we were back at the cabin, we were down by the wharf just at sunset having a couple of drinks and enjoying what a beautiful evening it was. Then I saw it again. An old-fashioned sailing ship, only this time there were lights on her fore and aft. And that time Abby saw it too, and she said, "Is that the ship you were talking about before?"
So you both had the sense that it wasn't an ordinary ship.
That's right. Abby took out her phone and took a couple pictures, but, well, I'll show them to you, just a second.
Let me guess. Nothing at all on the pictures?
No, it's weirder than nothing. Here, look at my phone.
Ah, I can see the lights, but no ship.
Right? Like I said, there were lights on the bow and the stern, and you can see those lights are there, but it just looks like they're kind of hanging in midair, and in between them is
Darkness.
Or kind of a blur?
There's nothing there, but there's not nothing there, if you know what I mean.
I do. There's something obscuring the water, something more than just darkness, but it's not anything definite.
Something a camera couldn't capture, which is exactly what I'd expect.
That's what Abby said. I mean, she saw the ship and then she saw the picture. And it's weird. She's actually the one who believes in paranormal stuff. She watches those ghost hunter shows and everything. I'm more skeptical, I guess. Or at least I was.
It's hard to be skeptical when you've seen things that can't be explained.
I told a couple of people about it. Older folks from out where we live, you know. They said there was an old story about a ghost ship from some wreck that went down off the coast like 100 years ago. Could I really have seen a ghost ship?
It's entirely possible. There have been hundreds of shipwrecks off our coasts and many, many stories about ghost ships.
One woman in town, an older woman, Mrs. Kenny, said her mother saw the ghost ship and told her the story. But the day that Abby and I saw it, nobody else who was out fishing saw anything strange. And I didn't like to talk about it too much because, well, it sounds kind of crazy, you know?
But it must have stayed on your mind because here you are.
Oh, I was coming into town anyway. I had to drop Abby at the airport. She's going to Toronto for a conference. I figured I'd come in, spend the night at my sister's place, do a Costco run. Then there was something I needed to pick up downtown, so I had to park down here anyway, and, well...
Somebody told you about the library?
Yeah, the same woman, Mrs. Kenny, who said her mother saw the ghost ship. She told me about this place and the code word to get in here and everything. But honestly, I wouldn't have come to see you just because I saw a weird ship twice. It was only when I saw it the third time.
A third time?
It was maybe 3 nights later. I couldn't sleep and I got up to get myself a cup of tea around midnight. It was a really clear night, the moon shining on the water, just so pretty. So after I had my tea, I put on my shoes and jacket and went outside. Our wharf is across the road from the house. We're right down by the water. So I walked down to the wharf and there was a ship out there.
The ghost ship?
It looked the same. The sails weren't up, but it was coming towards me, right in the bay, closer than it was before. Way closer than a ship that big would normally come in.
Did you hear anything?
No, that was one of the weird things. It was totally silent. And then when I looked up again, there was someone standing on the deck, the shape of a man, like a silhouette. He lifted his arm and waved at me, like he was trying to get my attention.
What happened then?
I'll be honest, I turned and ran back up to the house. It freaked me out more than the first 2 times because it was at night and so much closer, and it looked like body on the deck there was waving right at me. And then when I got up on the front steps of the house, I turned back to look at it again and it was gone.
Just like before?
Yeah. But this time it was so close that there was no way it could have gone anywhere in the few seconds it took me to cross the road. There was no logical explanation. Either it vanished or I imagined the whole thing.
It certainly does sound like a ghost ship, and what's more, it almost seems like it was seeking you out, you specifically, for some reason.
What reason, though? Why would a ghost ship be following me?
That's what we need to find out.
If you want to come out and see the bay for yourself, see if the ghost ship shows up again, you're more than welcome to come out to our place. I can give you directions. It's only about an hour and a half from here, just past Dildo.
Thanks for the invitation.
It's really rare that I tell anyone in town where we live and they don't make a dildo joke.
Surely we're beyond dildo jokes by now. Well, now that we've been through all the accounts of ghost ships we can find here in the library, what do we know?
That there are a lot of stories about people seeing ghost ships.
All over the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador. But no clear pattern about why people might see them.
So they often pop up to warn people of danger, like warning another ship off of dangerous rocks, things like that. But that doesn't really apply here, does it? Tish's boat wasn't in danger, and then the other times, wasn't she on land?
True. Also, Essie, I can't help feeling if a ghost ship seems to be almost targeting a specific person, there has to be some reason behind it. It can't be random.
How likely is it that these things are connected, though? You've been with the library for decades. Is it often some grand design or just random supernatural occurrences? The mermaid statues, how are they related to Fiona's garden fairies, to the park?
I don't think every single event is part of a pattern, but I do think things have reasons, and lately, Honestly, since you arrived, I seem to be seeing more connections, more patterns than usual. Maybe the library sending me another apprentice after all this time. Maybe it's part of the pattern.
I'm not sure how I feel about that idea.
Fiona's fairies were disturbed by human activity, an Avernal Development's construction project.
And the mermaids, they were put under a spell by an evil sorcerer who they said ruled the Avernal realms, but that was a long time ago.
About as long as this mysterious Mr. Crummy, who has no backstory, has been running his company?
I don't love the idea of evil sorcerers running around unchecked.
Oh, you would be surprised how many sorcerers, witches, wizards, and the like there are here in town.
Right, but it's specifically the ones who are evil and powerful that I'm concerned with.
Evil and powerful. Yeah, that's definitely a bad combination. Well, Essie, perhaps you can do a little more research on this Brett Crummy while I head out around the bay.
Oh, you're going to Tish's place?
Yes, I told her I'd drive out this afternoon. She invited me to stay overnight, in case the ghost ship makes another late-night appearance.
So, you're going to check out a potential ghost ship without me?
I didn't know if your contract extended to after-hours work.
Even after we spent that whole evening running around Bowering Park chasing rogue statues, you don't know if I'm up for overtime?
Fair point, but you've already put in a lot of extra hours.
Let me put it this way, Kate. There's no way I'm missing out on a ghost ship if I can possibly be involved in this.
All right, then. We'll swing by my place to pick up my things and feed the dogs, then drop by your place and we'll be on the road.
Will Byron, Shelley, and Keats be okay with you going away overnight?
Emotionally, probably not, but I've asked my neighbor to let them out before bed and feed and walk them in the morning.
Oh, can we stop for road trip snacks?
I have granola bars in my bag.
Nothing more fun?
Also, it's barely more than an hour's drive from town.
If you're on the TCH, it's a road trip and requires snacks.
Okay, I do have to stop for gas, so I suppose you can pick something up at the Circle K.
So I feel like we should be doing more about this Brett Crummy guy. Like, there's more there to uncover, but I guess in the short term we have to figure out
what to do to protect the library. Well, as soon as we're back in town, I need to make some calls, find out how serious this threat to the library really is, and what we can do to fight back. Oops, almost missed the turnoff. Now, it should be just down this road.
Oh, this is a beautiful spot.
Which is Tish's house, I wonder? It's supposed to be white with green trim, but I don't see...
Oh, it's right up there. When I texted that we were coming, she dropped me a pin.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We've both got a lot to learn. Oh, there's Tish.
Hey there, library ladies. Come on inside, you can put your bags up in the spare room. There's 2 twin beds up there. Nothing fancy, but it's comfortable.
What a sweet little spot you've got here. I love it.
Thanks. It belonged to my grandparents, and we originally thought we'd just use it on weekends. But then during COVID, Abby and I were both working remotely, and it's just so much prettier here than in town.
And you have your own wharf for your boat and everything?
Just got the boat last year. Been wanting one forever. Anyway, I'm going to fire up the grill and put on some burgers.
Your burgers were delicious, Tish.
We try to eat out here on the deck as often as we can, and say hi and wave at the neighbours. It's such a friendly place, not like being in town at all.
In fact, I think that's one of your neighbors coming now.
Hello, Tish. Got company tonight?
Hi, Marge. Come on up and have a drink, will you?
Oh, I suppose I can stay for a few minutes. Yes, don't mind if I do.
This is Kate McGregor and Essie Clark. They're out from town for the evening. Kate and Essie, this is our neighbour, Marge Kenny, from just up the road there. But sure, Marge, you must already know about Kate and Essie. It was you who told me to look up the secret spooky library when I went to town.
Well, now, all I did was pass on what I heard, that there was a place in town where people looked into all these kinds of mysteries. Heard about it from a fella who was fairy-led when he was a youngster. I'm very pleased to meet you both. Sort of like them ghost hunters on TV, are you?
Not exactly, but we do have an interest in anything that's out of the ordinary. So when Tish told us about her ghost ship, we had to come check it out.
Well, you couldn't have come to a prettier spot on a nicer evening. Me and the mister now, we used to have our place just for a summer cabin, but since we retired, we moved out here full time. This is a life, and there's nothing like it.
I'll drink to that. So Marge had no trouble believing there was a ghost ship?
You don't get to be my age without having seen a few ghosts, and that's even leaving aside me buddy and his story about being away with the fairies. I've seen mysterious lights off the point too, the odd time. Just never a whole ghost ship. But if anyone was going to see one, I'm not surprised it was our Tish.
Why's that?
Well, because of her grandmother.
She was actually my great-grandmother, Nanny Brown. She died when I was about 4 or 5. My nan used to say that her mother was a witch or had the second sight or something, but I never knew if she was serious.
Oh, yes, your great-grandmother Lizzie had the second sight, no doubt about it. My minds are well. Lizzie Collins she was before she married your Poppy Brown. They was a young married couple when I was only a youngster. Lizzie was never shy to be talking about stuff she'd seen. She was only a child herself when her father, that'd be old Captain Collins, wrecked his ship just off the coast. He was never the same after that. He used to say you could see the ghosts of his old shipmates all around him, and Lizzie said sometimes she could see him too.
I heard some of those stories from Nan, but I never knew whether to take it all seriously or not.
'Twas very serious indeed. People didn't laugh at that kind of thing back in the old days, not like now.
Some of us don't laugh at it now, especially not with Tish seeing ghost ships.
Wait, Tish, this great-grandmother of yours, how old would she be now if she were alive?
Oh my, I'm not sure. I never did the whole Ancestry.com thing or anything, but Mum's all into the family history. Let me see. I can think back from how old my nan was when she died, so I think my great-grandma Nanny Brown would have been born around 1920 or so. She'd be well over 100 if she was alive.
That'd be about right. She was about 20 years older than me. I'll be 80 my next birthday, and I haven't got a complaint in the world, not an ache or a pain. Now, there's not many can say that.
That's marvelous, Mrs. Kenny.
And, of course, that ship that went down, the one Tish's great-great-grandfather was the captain of.
That's what I was wondering about. When would that have been?
Oh, 1925, the wreck of the Fannie Mae. I knows the year because there's a monument to it up in the churchyard. And that was a big tragedy for the town. A whole crowd of local men were lost on her.
So, 100 years ago, a ship, I guess this was a fishing boat with sails and all that, right?
Oh yes, a three-masted schooner she was.
So this ship, captained by Tish's great-great-grandfather, sank not far off the coast here a century ago, and now Tish has seen a ghost ship that seems to be targeting her specifically.
You all think it was real? And maybe it has something to do with this actual ship?
And that maybe your great-great-grandfather and his crew were trying to send you a message.
Okay, this is the first I've heard about any message.
The folklore around ghost ship sightings usually suggests there's some purpose behind the ship appearing. It's usually to prevent the modern-day person from getting into a shipwreck on the same spot, but that doesn't apply in this case.
So, are we gonna hang around here waiting for the ghost ship, in hopes it shows up again?
It appeared at sunset before, and again after dark. There's still a good couple of hours till the sun goes down. I wonder if we could have a look at that memorial up in the churchyard, Mrs. Kenny. I'd like to know a bit more about this shipwreck.
Yes, sure, I could take you up there and show you the memorial and the notice board that got put up next to it. A few years ago, we got one of them grants for tourism and the like, and they put up a bunch of notice boards with historical facts and that sort of thing all around the bay.
I guess the idea is that once tourists have driven this far off the highway to get their pictures taken by the dildo sign and have a beer at the dildo brewery, they'll come a few minutes further up the highway to read some faded historical notice boards.
Don't seem to be working, though.
It's hard to compete with dildo.
That's what I always say.
Now, this here is a United Church. There used to be an Anglican church in town, too, but that closed down a good 25 years ago. And this one, you might say, is half closed down. They only gets a minister once a month because she got 4 different churches in the district. And nobody's buried in the cemetery here anymore, but all the historical graves are here. And that there...
Is a pillar with the carving of a ship on it?
Yes, that's the Fannie Mae Memorial.
And here's the historical plaque beside it.
Captain Obadiah Collins. That'd be your great-great-grandfather, Tish?
That's right. When I was little, Nan brought me up here and showed me this, told me my ancestor went down on that ship.
On the night of November 15th, 1925, the Fannie Mae, returning home from a trip to St. John's, was caught in a storm.
The November gales were a terrible hazard to ships back in them days. But there was a funny thing about that storm.
People on shore the night the ship sank reported it was a cloudy night with rain and strong winds, but not the type of fierce storm that would cause a shipwreck. Most of the townspeople concluded that conditions at sea must have been far more severe.
George Russell, Nathaniel Harvey, Jacob Brown, 12 men dead in all.
But there was 13 aboard, which they should have known before they ever set off was an unlucky number.
So the captain was the only survivor?
That's what it says here. The only survivor was Captain Obadiah Collins, who was found clinging to the wreckage when rescuers reached the site. He was deeply affected by the wreck, and many believe that he had lost his wits due to the shock, since he maintained until his dying day 30 years later that the ship had not been wrecked by the storm, but attacked by a sea monster.
What?
Tales of sea monsters in the waters around Newfoundland are very common. Of course, most turn out to be giant squid or something like that, large and certainly strange to the people who saw them, but nothing outside the natural realm.
Is there much folklore about sea monsters around these parts, Miss Kenny?
That's enough with the Mrs. Kenny. Just call me Marge. Everyone else does. No, I can't say I've ever heard many tales about sea monsters here, except for the one story about the Fannie Mae. And of course, most people never took that seriously, only thought poor Captain Collins was off his head.
Do you remember him? If he lived for 30 years after the wreck, then he must have been...
Oh, yes, he was still alive when I were a girl. Everyone knew he was a bit touched in the head, like, but we all put that down to the shock and the shame. The captain's supposed to go down with the ship, you know, and old Captain Collins was ashamed, I suppose, that he survived when all his crew were lost.
Poor old man. That must have been awful for him.
It was. He lived with Lizzie and her husband, and he never went back to sea again. He was deathly afraid of the water, or of ever getting back into a boat, and always talking about the ghosts and the sea monster.
The only tale of a sea monster type of creature that I've heard about in modern times is, the one in Robert's Arm. Cressy, I think they call it. There's a big cartoon sign at the entrance to the town, as if a sea monster could be a friendly mascot.
I'm sure if there'd been any more sightings of poor old Captain Collins' sea monster, we'd have had a big statue of it put up outside Cody's store to try to draw the tourists in. But no, the captain was the only one here who ever had anything to say about it. You can't build much of a legend out of that.
Did he have PTSD, maybe?
Oh, without a doubt, but just because a person has suffered trauma, you can't write everything they experience off as delusions. A combat veteran who has a panic attack during New Year's Eve fireworks is responding out of trauma. He isn't really hearing gunshots, but also the fireworks are real.
But I saw a ship, not a sea monster. So how does this help us?
I'm not sure either, but it feels like we have a bit more information now. Is Captain Collins buried here?
No, his name's on the headstone there in the family plot, but the captain himself just disappeared. He was an old man at the time, years after the shipwreck. He just went off for a walk one day and never came back. Folks said they saw him heading down to the rocks on the point towards sunset. When he never came back, most people thought he was climbing around on the rocks or something, and he slipped and fell, but his body was never found.
So, a traumatized elderly man who had been terrified of the ocean for the last 30 years of his life supposedly walked down to the rocks by the sea, went clambering around, and nobody thought that was unusual?
Well, now, like I said, I was just a young thing at the time. But his daughter Lizzie, your great-grandmother, Tish, well, I remember her saying the sea took him back in the end. And she was upset, naturally, but she seemed to think it was fitting somehow.
That's a hell of a story.
It's that all right.
Getting late now. Won't be long before the sun sets. Should we head back down to our wharf? I mean, not like I can guarantee the ghost ship will show up again, but...
If it does, we certainly want to be there.
No sign of anything out on the horizon.
Wait, isn't there something out there? Out at the mouth of the bay?
I don't see anything.
But I think I see something. Could be Ralph Ellis out in his boat.
That's not Ralph's boat. That's way bigger. It looks just like what I saw before.
I see it now. I think that's a boat?
Think it's a boat? Why, it's as clear as day. Clear as Tish's boat tied up there by the wharf. It's an old-fashioned three-masted schooner with her sails up and lanterns hung fore and aft.
'Tis just like how I always pictured the Fannie Mae to look whenever I heard tell about it.
I don't know how you can all make it out so clearly. It's like I'm looking at it through fog. Like, I can tell it's a ship, but I can't see any of the details.
Obviously, it appears more clearly to some of us than to others.
It's way clearer than it was the other times. To me, anyway.
Ship that size can't come right into the harbor here. It's too shallow when she gets to them rocks out there.
That doesn't seem to be stopping them.
Possibly ghost ships don't obey the same laws of physics as ordinary ships. If it moves so silently without even rippling the water around it, why should it matter how deep the water is? We're seeing an image, not a physical ship that exists in real space.
Look, It's going right past Holloway's Wharf. Bob and Brenda are down there on the wharf having a beer and they're not even glancing at it. Just having a chat and enjoying the sunset.
Completely oblivious to the giant ghost schooner sailing past.
Ahoy there!
Did you hear that?
There are sailors on the deck. Can anyone else see them?
I can. They look like, well, old-fashioned to go with the ship.
Ahoy there! Can ye hear my voice?
We hear you. Are you Captain Obadiah Collins?
That I am, captain of the Fannie Mae. Is there anyone ashore who is of my blood and kin?
That'd be me, I guess. I'm your great-great-granddaughter.
Is it so? Prove yourself. Tell me who you belongs to.
What? Like, does he need to see paperwork?
Captain Collins, this is Tish Warren, daughter of David, son of Ethel, daughter of your daughter Lizzie. If you've come with a message for her, she's ready to hear it.
I've come with a warning.
For me?
For all along this shore. The creature from the depths has risen again after sleeping many years. But the dead alone cannot fight her. We must have the help of the living.
Creature from the depths? Is that the sea monster you always said you saw?
Aye. I tried to tell them when I was alive, but nobody believed me.
Sir, all due respect, your ship sank 100 years ago and you've been dead for decades. Why show up now of all times?
In the land of the shadows, time don't move the way the living are used to. We've been called back into service, you might say, to fight something bigger than we fought before. Bigger even than the creature of the deep herself. And we need the living, as well as the dead, to fight it.
So, are we supposed to, get on the ghost ship with you?
You can come aboard, because you are of my blood and kin.
I don't want to go alone. Can my friends come too?
My apprentice and myself are not kin to anyone on the ship, but we are keepers of mysteries and secrets. We know of the world beyond the veil of this world, and we have seen ghosts and spoken with fairies and mermaids.
Mermaids, you say? Well, we've seen a few of those in our time sailing around these shores.
Yes, ask Aurora, the mermaid. We rescued her sister Ursula. Doesn't that make us worthy? We can go with Tish and help, I guess?
I know Aurora, Ursula, and all their sisters. If you have means to speak with mermaids, then you can come aboard. There's a powerful charm that will give the living the ability to sail on a ship of the dead, but 'twill only last 24 hours, and only 3 can come with us.
Oh, I'm more than happy to keep my feet planted on dry ground and stay in the land of the living. I don't want to go on no ghost ship.
I need to text Abby. I don't know how to explain all this to her, but I've got to do this.
I should call my neighbor now and tell her she might have to look after the dogs for an extra day. I doubt there'll be cell service on the ghost ship.
I swear by the rocks, the sea, and the sky that I'll do all in my power to bring the 3 of ye back safely to land. All aboard that's coming aboard. I cast the charm on the 3 of ye, and my men have lowered the ladder. You'll find it as solid to your hands as any ladder, and your feet will walk upon the deck as if it were still made of wood. Tonight, we go to seek the sea monster.
Terra Arcana is written and produced by Trudy Morgan Cole and Emma Cole, and directed by Emma Cole. Recording, sound design, and editing are done by Chris Cole at Bad Times Club Studios. Original music for the podcast is composed and performed by Chris Cole. In this episode, additional music was provided by John Bjork through Epidemic Sound. In episode 4, you heard Emma Cole as Essie Clark, Trudy Morgan Cole as Kate McGregor, Karen Murray Bergquist as Tish, Jean Graham as Marge, Nicholas Keogh as Mozzie, and Brandon Cave as Captain Collins. Special thanks to our sponsor for this episode, Running the Goat Books and Broadsides in Torres Cove, Newfoundland. Terra Arcana is a work of fiction. The producers of this podcast can neither confirm nor deny the existence of either ghost ships or sea monsters in the waters surrounding Newfoundland and Labrador. We will return in July with episode 5.